Latest football news, engaging debates,
and fascinating opinions.
Pitchside talk on IO Radio. So kicking off the games for Easter Sunday, it is Southampton versus Burnley. And for Southampton, they're hoping that James Ward-Prowse, the captain, has overcome a calf issue, which he picked up in the international duties whilst away for England. But they've got some better news. Danny Ings and Phil Walcott are back in training and available. But for Burnley, some bad news for them. Robbie Brady, he's going to be out. He suffered an Achilles injury whilst with Ireland during the midweek games against Qatar. And Ashley Barnes still remains out for the game. But Piers here, both sides here coming into this 14th and 15th, and also one win in 5 both. But this is a big game here because if one of the sides win this here, they'll put away from that relegation battle. And if they lose a few more, there'll be in a relegation battle, one of these two sides.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be the most exciting game, but it's probably an important game for both the teams. I think, there's still a chance they can both get dragged into it, with Brighton and Newcastle and Fulham still all in the mix. It's quite interesting for the bottom 3 drop. That would be brilliant for Southampton having Ings and Walcott potentially coming back. I mean, Southampton have been in ever since they had that historic win against Liverpool. It's pretty much been terrible for them. Really, it's probably the worst thing that happened to them. But this is the perfect chance for them to pick up form against a side that's only won 1-5. Although Burnley's last win now was against Everton, and they got a couple draws. But Burnley need to start turning these draws into wins really if they want to secure themselves, in the Premier League for another season, which I think they've definitely got the capability to do. Both teams definitely have. But I think just because Burnley got the win last time out, and I think Southampton are still a little bit fragile in their confidence, I think Burnley will go out there. I think they'll get the job done. I'm going to go for a 1-0 to Burnley.
So there's Newcastle versus Tottenham today, and for Newcastle, St. Maximin could be back for this game, but they are still going to be out with top goal scorer Callum Wilson for this game. But Steve Bruce has confirmed that Isaac Hayden will miss out now the rest of the season due to a knee injury. But for Spurs, they've got some better news. Son and Reguilon are both available for selection after recovering back from those injuries, but Matt Doherty and Ben Davies will miss out on the trip to St. James's Park. Here's a lot of pressure on this game here for Newcastle, especially 2 wins out of the last 18 Premier League games. Steve Bruce is under a lot of pressure here. I think the local Newcastle paper said that 95% of fans want him out at the end of the season or even now. But a win for them will take 5 points away from the relegation zone. But for Spurs here, if results go their way, they could be back into the top 4 here.
Yeah, both ends of the table sort of match for Newcastle. There's definitely a lot of pressure on them. They've really started to sort of slip down now and to a point where, it's starting to get dangerous. They only got themselves back promoted, 4 or 5 seasons ago, I believe. So they don't want to really get themselves back into the championship. They don't want to start becoming this sort of yo-yo club because the size of a club, Newcastle, they should be, staying in the Premier League every year. I feel like Newcastle fans are right. I don't think the manager is good enough. I feel like they need a couple more players addition in there to keep such a strong side. But a lot of pressure on them, especially with Fulham behind them by I believe it's 2 points, although they've got a game in hand over them. On the other side of the table, Tottenham, it'll be a big opportunity for them. Although Tottenham are under pressure themselves, to be honest, I feel like there's still a bit of pressure after losing the North London derby and getting knocked out embarrassingly out of Europe by Salzburg. So, obviously they've got a good win against Villa, but I still think there's pressure on Tottenham's plate here. So I feel like they need to get the win here regardless anyway, whether they get themselves into the top 4 via the Chelsea result. So I think Tottenham will go out there. I think they'll get the win. I think Newcastle have got a lot more problems than the eye can see at the moment. So I think Tottenham will get the win. I'm going to go for 2-0 to Spurs.
So there's Aston Villa versus Fulham today. And for Aston Villa, some very good news for them. Captain and talisman Jack Grealish is available to face Fulham after missing the last 7 weeks due to a shin injury. And I tell you something, I didn't need fancy football to tell me that one. But yeah, there's no more news for Villa this week. But for Fulham, Bobby Reid will return to Fulham after missing the last 2 previous games because of injury. And Tom Kearney is still remaining out with his ongoing knee problem. But it's here. Quite a big game here. Villa, they can get back into the European football race. But for Fulham here, a chance to get outside the relegation zone here with a victory. But probably the worst time to face Aston Villa here with Jack Grealish now fit. And, when he's back, they win more games with him.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Grealish, phenomenal player. He'll be a huge boost to that Villa team because they've lost some games that they really should have won and dropped points. Dropped points against Newcastle, losing to Sheffield United. These should be games that a team like Villa, especially after the fantastic start of the season they've had, that they should be winning. So I'm sure having him back will be a huge boost to the team. We know what he can do on the pitch. On the other hand, Fulham, they've had a couple of hard games to be fair to them, obviously they had to win against Liverpool, then lost to City. So it's been a couple hard games for Fulham. I think it'd be an interesting game. An Aston Villa team that have been bad form, but their best player and one of the most exciting players in the league is coming back against a Fulham team that knows how to get points against people. So I think it's going to be an immovable object against an unstoppable force, and I think it's going to end up being a draw, a standard Fulham draw, and I'm going to go for a 1-1.
So the final game for Easter Sunday, it is Manchester United versus Brighton. And for Manchester United, they could have Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood returning to the side after they joined back up into training on Friday after missing through injury. But Martial and Lindelof could miss this game because of a knee problem and a back problem for both players. For Brighton, it looks like Adam Webster is still going to be remaining out with his ankle injury, and Aaron Connery has a chance to return, but is a little bit doubtful after return back from the public line with a bruised foot here. But Piers, it kind of an interesting game really here. Manchester United, when the last time the two side played, it was a very controversial game with Manchester United winning in sort of after the full-time whistle and that penalty. But they're looking to continue that unbeaten run, going back into second place or to stay in second place. We do not know just yet. But for Brighton here, they come to this game, win the previous two, scoring for fun here. So there's a chance here for them to win.
Yeah, Brighton obviously after losing their derby have seemed to pick up a bit of form here. Looking good. On the other hand, Manchester United last time out had lost in the FA Cup. Not a great performance on them. Was looking more like the Manchester United of last season, where they were losing games they probably should have won. It's an interesting one. I think it depends on what Man United team comes out. To be honest, I know Brighton. It's probably a bigger game for them because they need to make sure that they stay in the Premier League this season. Manchester United, they're not going to win the league. I think that's decided. It's just to stay on top four, and they've got a healthy amount of points, so they should do. But I think they've put on a lot of talent this season. I don't think it's going to be the most riveting of games, so I'm going to go for a 1-0 to United.